And joining me in the studio is my colleague Geeta Mohan. Geeta, as you're watching the developments very closely, especially with regards to the hit that has happened in Dubai, given the footfall of tourists, given how it is considered safe, and now the fact that the Gulf players are saying that we need to look at our sovereignty, how are they recalibrating their position?
Well, the recalibration, firstly, the fact that they all had come out in support of Iran, saying that their air, space, waters and land will not be allowed to be used against Iran. What you're seeing from Iran are strikes against not the country, but the bases, US bases, which they think are fair game in a scenario where Iran is now under attack by Israel and America. But we are also getting reports that there have been incidents. There's no confirmation on whether they are incidents or the causation is missiles from Iran, but there have been incidents in civilian areas as well. Now, once we get a confirmation of whether if those were Iranian missiles and drones, there will be certainly a recalibration on how these countries, especially the UAE, wants to respond to the attacks, because the retaliation has gone beyond US bases. Having said that, they're also recalibrating and realigning how they want to respond to the attacks that have taken place, because they still consider it violation of their sovereignty and international norms and laws. So this is going to be a very important night where we have to see how West Asia really responds to Iran and who is their net security provider. The net security provider for the whole of West Asia, even if they have defense systems, missile defense systems, drone technology and missiles, the net security provider remains the United States of America. And you've seen a lot of statements come from the White House. So, Suesha, we'll have to wait and see how America responds to these attacks, how Israel responds to these attacks, and how the West Asia comes together, because they have already condemned the attacks by Iran.
Oh yes, but like you're saying that the next few hours are very crucial, the next 24 hours, the next 48 hours, what does it possibly mean for travelers, for tourists, for those who are in and out of Dubai, holding their businesses, have their homes, with regards to the fact that the flights are suspended, airports shut? What do they possibly look at and prepare for in the next 2 to 3 days?
It is absolute chaos, certainly. The people who are stranded, who are travelers, for them it's going to be a major inconvenience. For those who are living in the region, it's going to be a real concern and a real threat. So yes, they will have to, one will have to keep looking at the travel advisories if they're foreign nationals from their respective governments, and the Interior Ministry and the Defense Ministry and the official platforms in the respective countries, whether it's Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman. All the countries are now monitoring the entire situation and are putting out advisories constantly. A lot of people are thinking, should they start leaving the region? But leaving one country to which other country? It's again West Asia. So leaving certainly is not an option right now when airports have shut in certain countries. They will have to exercise caution and in that be in areas that are considered safe. For now, the guarantees and the statements that have come from Iran are that they're not going to or willfully target civilians or civilian areas. Now, if there's a misfiring of missile, we don't want to sound bombastic, we don't want to sound provocative. But there could be incidents in civilian areas also, but that's not their official line. The official line is that they're only going to hit out at military bases which could be used against Iran in the future. So what they're also doing are preemptive strikes to ensure that this capability of the United States of America is taken out. But like you said, Suesha, it is from what we're seeing, the developments that we're hearing of and learning, and the kind of reports that we're seeing coming in from local media in West Asia, whether it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Riyadh, the Muscat, the situation is quite tense, and so they will have to follow advisories of governments. There isn't a major evacuation plan right now for these countries.
Right.
But I think the Indian government will be looking at evacuation maybe sooner from Iran.
Oh, yes, Geeta, and I also want to come back to you on that. But before that, Mr. Adrian Calamel is joining us from Washington, D.C. Very good evening, actually, here in India. Good night. Is night time here in India, Mr. Calamel. Thank you for speaking to India today. Really, your sense of how the developments are being looked at, given the fact that we just broke the news, Trump watching every development very, very carefully, really measuring what happens next. Are they prepared for escalation? If yes, how are they planning on it? Especially with regards to the attack that has happened in Dubai, because here we are looking at a city, where tourists have taken a hit, where we see the maximum footfall, and no one would have really expected this. We as journalists knew that, tension is rife, but for those who were leading their lives as normal to now face this and literally have lives stalled for the next 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, well, good evening to you, Suesha, and thank you for having me on the show. It's going to be disruptive. UAE was always going to be targeted. That was going to be one of the regime's objectives, is to try and terrorize the region into backing them. But if you look at the statements coming out of places such as Saudi Arabia, they've strongly condemned, even though they didn't, allow us to use their bases there, they've strongly condemned the attacks on Qatar, the attacks on the UAE, and so I think they're all putting their fingers up in the air, kind of seeing which way the wind blows. And when we look at this honestly, Saudi Arabia has been subject to terror attacks from the Islamic Republic going back to Khobar Towers, where one of our bases was targeted by the Islamic Republic. So this should, they're saying it'll be 3 to 4 day operations. I think it's going to be more about several weeks. It all depends on what the conditions on the ground are and what the people are doing. We still don't have any battle damage assessments of any nature inside Iran, and any true reporting that we get is coming from, let's say, from Doha or from Dubai, and journalists saying, okay, well, they've been hit here, they've been hit there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And let me also take this to Lieutenant Colonel J.S. Sodhi, joining us on the broadcast, editor of Global Strategic and Defense News. Colonel Sodhi, with regards to the Indian diaspora, Indian assets in Dubai, at risk at this moment, critical situation, what more are you picking up?
Jai Hind, Suesha. It is my honor to be on your esteemed channel and a privilege to be with the eminent co-panelist. About 9 million Indian diaspora resides in the Middle East, with about 38% of the remittances that come to India come straight from the Middle East. So definitely it is a matter of deep concern for India that many of our kith and kin are stuck up in this volatile situation, which doesn't seem to getting easy at any moment, the way all the sides are retaliating with all force and fury. So definitely...
So I'm sorry, I'm having to interrupt you here. We're just getting more breaking news coming in. Let's quickly cut across to that. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar, who's posted, and I quote, spoke with Israeli FM Guide and SAR this afternoon, reiterate India's call for dialogue and diplomacy to de-escalate the ongoing tensions. That's the word coming in from External Affairs Minister S. Shankar, who's put out this latest post, primarily putting out India's position on the ongoing developments, where he writes in this post, and I read, spoke with Israeli Foreign Minister Guy Ansar this afternoon, reiterate India's call for dialogue and diplomacy to de-escalate tensions. Let me also take this to my colleague Geeta, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Geeta, we have been talking about what India's position will be, how the strategic balance will be struck vis-a-vis Iran, US, Israel, and this post coming out from S. Shankar speaks of where we stand.
Well, the fact that he's already spoken to his Israeli counterpart, Foreign Minister of of Israel, and the reiteration is what India really stands for. Israel and Iran both are important partners for India. Iran strategically very, very important, and so is Israel. The Indian side has always been advocating peace, diplomacy and dialogue, which is what External Affairs Minister Jaishankar has now reiterated in this post that he's put out. Certainly a cause of concern and worry for India, because while Iran and Israel are far apart, Iran is very, very close to India. It is India's backyard, and any trouble in that part of the world is going to have direct ramifications on India and the economy as well. Should Iran consider closing down the Strait of Hormuz? Should the Houthis, as they have said, start attacking ships in the shipping lane of the Red Sea? That certainly is a huge cause of worry. It should not just be for India, but for the region and the world. For now, India advocating what it has always advocated, which is peace, calling for peace, calling to end this hostility through dialogue and diplomacy.
Oh my God.
Colonel Sodhi, if I could quickly come back to you for this, given the sort of aggressive statements that have been coming in and the back-to-back strikes that we've witnessed, is diplomacy off the table at the moment?
Well, Suesha, in 430 BC, Thucydides, the famous Greek philosopher, had stated, "The strong do what they have to do, the weak only keep on looking at the strong actions." Well, this is exactly happening centuries later also. It is clearly the maxim of might is right. America knows it has the economic power, it has the military power. Israel knows it has the military power. For last 47 years, Iran has been subjected to a plethora of economic sanctions, and thus the economic might definitely has denuded. They may not have a strong military as the Americans or the Israelis, but the fact is, even in the last year's 12-day war, the Iranians gave a very strong retaliation to the Israelis. In fact, Iran went on to destroy 1/3 of Tel Aviv, which is the capital of Israel. So one thought that America would not indulge in such a war again. In fact, on 13 January this year, as President Trump was being given the final briefing by Pentagon, because he had told on 8 January that 13th night would be the attack on Iran. On 13th morning, the intelligence chiefs of America's secret agencies told President Trump that attacking Iran would be harakiri for the Americans. So at that moment, President Trump had put off the attack plan, which was originally scheduled for 13 January night. But it is indeed surprising that he still went on to attack Iran, despite his intelligence chiefs clearly stating that such an attack caused immense disaster for Americans. And as we have seen, the Iranians sometime back issued a clear statement: any attack on Iran would mean attack on the American bases in the Middle East. They have lived up to their word. They have attacked 14 American bases in the Middle East. Definitely the Iranians also are not going on a back foot. They are fighting with all the wherewithal that they have. I don't see the situation calming down at any time soon.
All right. And we continue to watch, like we are saying, that the next few hours extremely crucial. I want to go across to Priyanka Mishra. All right, Priyanka, thank you for speaking to India today. Do give us a sense of what was observed when that hit happened in Palm Jumeirah. What is the impact? What is the sense among people? Is there a sense of panic, chaos? What's happening?
Okay, so I live very close to Palm Jumeirah, say about 8 to 10 kilometers. So from here, I can hear the explosives and the bombing. It's been 4 to 5 hours that I have been hearing these noises, this loud bombing and explosion noises. Though situation here in my area looks under control, yeah. So, but I don't know what's happening there in Palm Jumeirah actually. But my surroundings,
talking to us.
It looks pretty under control, but yes, my team is there, so I think it's pretty disturbing there in Palm Jumeirah. But I can see those missiles, over, because it's Marina area. I can see the missiles. I can hear those bombing noises all around my area.
Any advisory that has been issued yet? What are people expecting, especially in the next couple of hours, in the next 24 hours to be precise, given the fact that there is tension, if there could be another strike, what are the Gulf players likely to do? Flights have been suspended, airports not functional. What is it that you're hearing from people?
Yes, the airspace has been shut down since morning, and we have been advised to stay indoors and stay safe. That's it. Yes, we are not allowed to. We are not advised to move out. We have been asked to stay indoors and stay safe.
All right. All right. Do stay on with us. Adrian Calamal, I want to come back to you to really understand how US is really measuring the sort of response that has come in to understand regime pressure, of course, regime change, and that has been discussed. But could there be containment? Are they expecting further escalation? And if that is, how are they preparing for it?
I don't know. I think UAE government is pretty much capable of taking the situation under control very soon.
All right. Priyanka, let me take that question to Mr. Calamal.
Trying to negotiate with this regime since 2016. As bad as Pakistan is with a nuclear weapon, the regime would have a nuclear weapon, and the region can't afford to have that. Where Pakistan uses it in a case of nuclear blackmail, the real concern is that the regime will come true on their promise of death to Israel and death to America. They would be the first country in the world that both enriches and reprocesses that does not possess a nuclear weapon. And when they kill 40,000 of their own people, clearly they have little regard for humanity. So this no longer, Khamenei had his chance. He had his chance. He had his nuclear program, or he had possible regime collapse. And this is what he's getting, regime collapse. And as far as ballistic missiles go, the regime only has a finite supply of them. And every time they pull out a mobile launcher, we find out where it is. Once there's bows and arrows. Once we figure out where all the bows are, and a lot of them have been taken out, the arrows are useless. And those are the ballistic missiles.